We are all that. What do you mean by that?
What do you mean?
No. Because I mean, not him coming here already smiling when I say, "Oh, we're not tech gurus." I'm like, yeah, I'm the tech guru here. Well, who do you think you are?
It's the big stuff.
I know. Well, tech is something that we need to get ahead of, because as a people, we know. No, we need to keep ourselves up to date with some of the info that coming from the tech world, and you may tell yourself, "Oh, I'm not tech savvy. I don't like tech." You don't have a choice, because it's the people that get acquainted with tech on time that would keep the jobs. We did see that Microsoft let go of 6,000 employees not too long ago because of this. So if you don't want to know it, do you really want to make money?
If you don't want to know it, you gotta know it.
You don't have a choice. You really don't have a choice. So just tete sile. I couldn't tell the Yorubas to say. Like, put your ears on the ground. Let's talk tech.
We have somebody in the studio. Let me tell you. I don't know if I'm yet to see somebody I've chased down like this guy.
This one.
Let me tell you. Yeah, let's not cast him too much so that it will be comfortable for the rest of the show.
If not, he has 2 women to contend with.
Listen, he has almost a decade of experience in software product innovation and development. He leads multiple teams committed to building ideas, passion into efficient digital products that create value and improve lives, businesses, and processes. He's a team lead at Zanotech Limited, an enterprise software development company, and he is the founder of Landest.co. It's a real estate technology platform and a premise suite, a digital banking as a service infrastructure.
Well, he has led the delivery of multiple enterprise software solutions globally. He is an expert, or he has an expert background in complex cross-functional, technical and non-technical service delivery, governance, risk management, regulatory compliance, financial service, e-banking and electronic channels, cybersecurity, data privacy, workforce development, supply chain and human capital management at federal and state government levels globally, both in non-profit and corporate settings.
He's a system thinker and versatile leader. He sits on the board of directors for 2 international brands across the financial services space, namely APDP LLC and Grain Coast Capital. He's an alumni of the Africa for Africa Youth Initiative. And he's a serial founder of enterprise tech product innovations in the African tech ecosystem. Ladies and gentlemen,
we present to you
hermaphrodites in between.
David Travis Uche. Hi, Travis.
Where's my GiftedGoddess?
Hi.
Hi, Chiioma. So good to be here.
Wow.
So good to have you
So
here.
good to see you.
So good to
Finally.
see you.
Such a busy bee. Aye.
Funny.
Well,
Queen
keeping
bee.
up.
This
We're
King
keeping
bee.
up.
Okay, so we've been talking about the industrial revolutions. We did the first, the second, the third, and the fourth.
Yeah.
And we delved into all of that for tech. But this is still tech. Yes, it's tech spaces. But we're going to be looking at the evolution of technology in real estate building participation, accountability, and transparency in this space. Plenty English, right?
It's a lot.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you? Oh, sir.
Well, generally, I think that Nigeria has a booming population of over 230 million people as at 2025. And that already lets you know that there's a rising need for real estate as a whole, within the space. And so, when I look at the real estate market generally, it's riddled with a lot of problems, and these are problems that could easily be solved with technology.
Absolutely.
In Lagos, for example, you have a record or a report that says that over 60% of real estate transactions deal with disputes at some point because of different lapses, and then problems that come up as we go. So you have the problems of, fraud.
Yeah.
When you get a land, almost everybody has a testimony or a story of somebody who gets to get a property, and then there's a problem at some point. Just a few days ago, you had some people who had houses in some parts of Lagos, and it was demolished by the government all of a sudden.
Right.
One of the many.
Yeah, so it's just a whole lot, and these are things that could easily be solved by technology. So again, when I look at the real estate market, building transparency, participation, and accountability, you look at it again from the perspective of, the population of the market and the segment of the market. So just to give you like a general understanding, in Nigeria alone, you have, I already said the population of 230 million plus people.
Right.
And then outside or within that population, you have over 50%, according to statistics, over 50% of the population is basically made up of Gen Zs and millennials. These are people within the ages of 13 to 44. This is basically a tech-driven, tech-grown population. So if you're looking at 230 million, over 115 million people are already attuned to tech, and they're dealing with a real estate market that has almost no tech involved, or integrated into it.
Why is that though?
Yeah, I mean, it's you have, for the lack of words, you have old-fashioned people in the space who are building houses. Some are renting out houses, and then of course they don't get to factor in the fact that you're dealing with young people. You're dealing with people who are much more attuned to technology. For example, you have people who say real estate development agency who build houses, and then of course they tell you, okay, you know what, this is the paperwork. They give you a sheet of paper, you sign here, you sign there, and at the end of the day, that's it. You can't account for your assets. They give you a CFO, and then it's all paper. There's nothing backing it. None whatsoever. So you have these problems all over the space, and then you have, this beaming population who are not participating fully in that space because it doesn't speak to them. You get it? So, when I think about participation and accountability and transparency, I think about this whole body of thoughts, as a whole, and the developers who are building houses have to get to the stage and to the place where they understand the audience they're selling to. You have people who are, they speak technology, they use technology. So you can't just come to them to tell them, oh, you come and buy a house, and then there's no technology around that framework. You're telling them to make a payment of XYZ over the space of 12 months, and there's no technology to manage this and build accountability and transparency
and that's
around
where
the
you
payments
come
I'm
in.
making. Exactly. So that's where the tech people, come in. And, I think it's needed at this point that you have bright Nigerian youths who are building tech solutions to really cater to that market, look into the real estate space, and then come up with solutions that actually solve these problems and speak to the general population of the young people and the millennials and the Gen Zs who are supposed to be involved in the space.
So how can tech speak to that problem? That's something that we'd like to know, but we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we are asking that question because I see what you're saying. Young people are interested in this, but how does tech work hand in hand? And then is there a market, and is there, are some people going to be fizzled out? We'll get back after this.
Well, do not forget that we're live on YouTube at Super FM Lagos is the handle. And yes, you are listening to Tech Spaces.
Super FM 92.7. In today's fast-paced world, staying ahead of the curve is crucial. Are you ready to connect with the latest in business and economics? Tune in to the Business Connect, a dynamic program that delivers in-depth analysis of Nigeria's top business headlines and the global trends shaping the world economy. Each week, we bring you the latest updates on everything from financial markets and trade policies to entrepreneurship and cutting-edge innovations. Hear from industry leaders and experts as they break down the topics that matter most in the world of business. Whether you're an entrepreneur, a business professional, or simply curious about the evolving world of commerce, the Business Connect connects you to the pulse of business at home and abroad. Stay informed, stay ahead, make smarter decisions. Tune in to the Business Connect every Monday, 10:30 to 11 a.m. Because in business, knowledge is power. The Business Connect, only on Super 92.7 FM. Don't miss it. One family, one radio.
Have you been looking for avenues to reach a global audience? Would you like your business to reach your target audience and people from all walks of life? Call our commercial lines on 0816-4193-677 or walk into our office at 31 Bishop Oluwole Street, Victoria Island, Lagos. Put your business on blast on Super 92.7 FM, your one family, one radio. 92.7 Super FM.
Welcome to the airwaves of Super FM, where we bring you the hottest hits and keep you entertained all day long.
Well, something crazy just happened now. Travis tried to look at me through tech, using his phone to check me out. Like, what did you miss? You missed a lot. Of course, no, you didn't.
Are you fine?
It was. I'm good. I was threatened for a bit because he put me under duress, but I'm fine.
Oh my god.
Well, we have been talking tech right here on Tech Spaces on 92.7 Super FM. The evolution of technology in real estate, building participation, accountability, and transparency in this space. As you and I have known it to be right here in Nigeria, it's a norm for you to wake up in the morning if you're in such of an apartment and get a number from a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend of an agent who has a house somewhere, and then you commute from one location to another, get there, and you'll be asked for how many fees again?
You pay the
agent fee, and then you pay the
transportation
fee. Transportation and inspection fee. You see those fees?
And that's just before if you do choose the house, you're gonna pay agency fee 20%.
Absolutely.
You're gonna pay legal fee 20%.
Exactly.
That's
And
40%.
caution
And caution fee. And
Just to
now,
caution you.
and now Travis is
That
saying,
caution fee never comes back.
No, you never
Of
come
They
back.
course.
promise
No.
you to come back at the end. But it never
forget
does.
it, just forget it. And here we're talking about the evolution of technology in the real estate space.
Yeah.
And I asked Travis a question just while we're off air. The disruption that's about to happen when this pulls through, especially with the middlemen, is something that we need to talk about.
Absolutely.
But let's go back first of all and talk about how tech and real estate meet. How tech comes into play in real estate and makes it viable in today's market.
Okay, so when you look at the integration of tech into real estate, you also, like I already mentioned, you consider the population, who's the audience, right? But then at the same time, you also look at the use case scenarios, right? So you have people who are buying and selling houses, you have people who are renting houses, rental properties, then of course you have people who are investing generally, flipping, investing and flipping and investing and flipping. So again, you have to look at how do we make this seamless. So beginning even from the buying and the selling process, this whole physical, the physical presence or the physical dominance and not giving people access to be able to virtually access these supposed properties, access the reviews, access detailed data and information about this place. Is it flawed? What's the light situation here? What's the security situation here? Of course, and at the same time, even the buying process. What's the buying process like? You have people who buy a property and then you make a down payment. And then after you made your down payment, you go to your house and there's virtually nothing that proves that you made a down payment.
Down payment.
Exactly.
Right.
And then you come back 6 months later and they're telling you stories that touch the heart.
And
you don't have data to back it.
Super story.
Except receipts of your transfer. I transferred X, Y, Z, but they say you formulated the receipt.
And then why?
Right.
But if there are platforms, if there's a platform to enable that, and you can do those transactions on there, and it's stored and it's saved, you have data to prove that this is the transaction interaction I had with this firm over the space of this time in buying and selling this thing.
I like that he just mentioned this because I do remember when my mom got her land. Of course, the receipt is the only thing. And then there was this family that came out and said, "We're the real owners of the land. Bring your family receipts." And my mom brought that and said, "No, that's not the family receipts. Another receipt." I'm like, okay, how crazy is this?
I'm ashamed to say that I bought one of such land a long
Ouch.
time ago. I don't know where it is right now. It's in
Ouch.
Owode somewhere. That's all I can tell you. I even built a fence around it.
No way.
People are traumatizing me, bringing back pain and anguish. But isn't it possible for someone to send you a fraudulent, that's it in English. I was thinking about scam, but fraudulent, yes. Documentation, even online, even via
it is. So, and this is where, government participation comes into play, right?
Right. How so?
Because, you have a government who is largely not entirely involved in this process.
Largely
they just
not
allocate-
entirely involved.
Oh, yeah, that's a lot of English, but you get it. But you have a government who's not so involved in this process, and then of course there's almost no land registry where you can go to and verify that this particular document that was allocated to you was actually allocated to this agency who is giving it to you. And for the life of me till today, I don't get why the government haven't done that.
Is it could it be that people haven't been able to sell the idea to them well enough? Because this saves everybody a ton of stress.
Like I want to buy something. Why you as the government, you're allocating this thing to developers? Why can't you have a central registry where people can literally just go to and confirm that this is real?
There was one of such an office somewhere on Lagos Island because I did do a shoot there. Now it's dilapidated. Yeah. And there was a something land. Yeah. It's somewhere very close to this all boys school, King's College, very close very close to, I think, even the court. Yeah. I did see one of such, but it's like not in existence
Interestingly,
anymore.
there's a part of technology that actually is a little bit more advanced, but actually caters to this particular problem.
I was going to tell you to speak
certificate of
to us.
occupancy and the CFO thingy. You have technology is moving in a very fast pace, right?
Okay.
You have the evolution of AI, artificial intelligence, of course, then you have blockchain.
Yeah.
Right.
But in blockchain particularly, there are allocations or allowances for you to create solutions that basically allocate legal documents to a person once conditions are met. So what I mean by that is, think about it. It's called smart contracts. So you can check that for all our listeners. So think about it like a vending machine, right?
Okay.
You go to the vending machine, you put in $1, and you expect to get maybe a bottle of Coke or something or soda, and then you put in the $1. The minute you put it in, the vending machine doesn't need a middleman to confirm that you gave me $1. The vending machine just gives you the Coca-Cola. So in technology, smart contracts around really being regulated by the government instantly allocates whatever payment, whatever asset you paid for to the user. So if anybody comes from anywhere and says, "Oh, I have this, it's my family land, it's my this."
You have documents backing up, you have data
backing it within the blockchain, and it is trusted and accepted. So of course, again, that speaks to the part of acceptance, by the general public. So the public needs to understand blockchain, how this works, start trusting it, and get into accepting. Of course, then the legal frameworks around Nigeria also being open to smart contracts that are made on the blockchain.
I like how you have mentioned blockchain, and then you mentioned right by it the legal framework as concerns blockchain, because I feel like blockchain is a whole space for learning, because I don't know what that is. Like, I know blockchain,
I know.
but we don't. Regular people don't know what really is.
Because of
This
time.
makes sense.
But then at the same time, what it does is that it removes the monopoly out of what you call the internet that you have today. Because the internet literally has a monopoly. Somebody can turn it off. It can be turned off.
Oh, yeah. It was not too long ago where WhatsApp and Instagram, everything was just not working. And everyone went into a frenzy and it was crazy.
But wait, that's like what's happened. The whole internet can be turned off?
It can be.
Because it's monopoly of that.
Y'all just freak me out. But, okay.
So
the cloud may not be in existence.
I mean, there was an instance, I think I remember the country where traffic lights stopped working. All of a sudden, flights were cancelled. All of a sudden, and then several other medical facilities that depended on the internet were cancelled. Why? Because internet connectivity or internet access was blocked out from that country entirely.
That's crazy.
And this was not too long ago. But the main point is, with blockchain, right, you have a decentralized internet, as it were, and then people can basically connect together from different or multiple computers or servers around the world. That's just a general summary, really.
Okay, let's get back to my disruptiveness of the middlemen and availability for them to actually hop on this, and how they can, especially for the landlords, the agents, and all of them.
I mean, talking about it, I feel like that's like one of the biggest problems actually in the space, this whole middleman drama. In Lagos, for example, the rent prices are out of the hook. You have people fixing rent prices that are just out of the hook, and then when you want to even get them, when you're trying to even get them, you have these exorbitant fees by agents and middlemen and players. But again, there are marketplaces where you can be able to go to as a millennial, as a Gen Z, access them, and possibly beat the middleman. Yes, will it create some disruption? Absolutely. Right? So you can pick up your mobile device, you access this property, you see who is offering it for rent at whatever price, and then of course you can directly contact, make your payment, and move in. In fact, in some cases, you can actually run your inspection virtually. So
isn't it possible for the middlemen to actually take advantage of this?
Oh yes, so that's the part where they come in. So again, disruption for the ones who don't catch up with the trend, But then you also have the middlemen who are smart enough to get on board platforms like this, and also basically still interface with customers and people within those platforms. But the good thing about it is the fees become regulated by the platform, and of course the platform can be regulated by the government.
So we don't have everyone is checkmating everyone.
Exactly. So we don't have people coming to say my agent fee is 40%. Did you give me the money to pay the rent?
My brother. If I pay
Absolutely.
100,000 to the man, I will now pay 40,000 to you for just being around.
You
For
know,
just being in the same vicinity.
Just being there.
recently, the Lagos State government mentioned they're capping it at 10%, but capping it how? How do you intend to stop it?
My brother, you're talking about just capping it. How about the idea that they're going to make people start paying monthly
Monthly
and
rent?
That's another
quarterly?
one again.
Is that
that is
achievable?
Well, it depends. It does depend. It works for some people, doesn't work for a whole lot of other people.
So you're saying that this tech is actually available now?
Oh yes. There are platforms that already enable people to do this, right? But then I think that what we should encourage is more people getting into this space, especially tech firms. You know, technology developers across the country.
So for a developer who's listening right now, what skill set should they have? And don't worry, speak tech to us, even though we don't understand the gibberish. For the developer who's listening, what skill sets should they have to be viable or ready for this space?
I mean, it's not complex. If you're a developer, obviously you already understand the whole structure around, you know, back-end development and front-end development and mobile development. So obviously you want to serve a market of people who can access your solution on their mobile devices.
Okay.
So definitely you can have a mobile app around this, you know, can build a not so tech complicated mobile app around this. You know, the sweet part, and I was telling a team of developers just a few days ago, is that artificial intelligence has so advanced that an AI agent can basically work with you to build a solution like this in record time. You see, so
Are we not just leaving everything for AI? Are we not just becoming dumb every day?
well, go ask Microsoft why they laid off 6,000 people. Engineers.
Well, I mean, to be honest, like you said, like, are we not getting to that point where we're solely dependent
On AI.
Well, yes.
And
there's-
like you said, the monopoly of the internet. One
Yeah.
day someone could just switch everything off.
what if AI takes over everything?
This
Okay,
is,
no, that is the problem.
These tech people, every time they come, they scare us with this thing. Have you noticed?
Yes.
They scare
Every
us.
single time.
What should be like? We're afraid.
It's
We're
a real
officially
scare.
afraid.
I'll be honest, it is. It's a real scare, right? Because it's like testing the boundaries of what could be, you know, and you don't really have full control over it because AI is basically artificial intelligence. It's an independent entity that thinks on its own. And it's learning information constantly from you to do things. And
Can think on its
interestingly,
own.
the
That's
more
the
you're
problem.
telling it about your relationship problems, the more it's
more it is
understanding,
understanding
you and how to
you.
be a better partner and how to be, you know.
You don't like tech so much because when you're sounding like, oh my god, we're in
love
trouble.
that
Just
you're
so
the
you know.
one who's saying it because the rest of us are already freaked out. But since you're the one who's saying it, aren't you scared too?
Well, we should be. I think the complicated part about it is how it affects the labor market. That's the part that scares me the most, right?
Right,
Because people are getting out of their jobs fast, like really,
and
really
you have
fast.
to hop on the
And
train.
you have to hop on the train
You don't have a choice. It's not like
as
you can
quickly
say,
as
okay, you know what,
possible.
I want to go to the cave and be a cave woman or be a caveman.
No, the bright side is instead of letting the car drive you, learn to drive the car. Right? So instead
makes
of
a lot of
letting it drive
sense.
you, learn to use it, understand it, you know, whatever industry. And of course, closing it up with the real estate space, also looking at how does it impact, you know, there's a whole lot of aspects where artificial intelligence can also play a role in, you know, better real estate markets in Nigeria as a whole. So yeah, whole lot of space to play in.
So before you go, don't go yet.
I'm there.
Because I'm listening to you and I'm hearing this. I'm wondering about young people who are just getting into tech. And
Yeah.
you sound like this is, I mean, from what I'm hearing from you, this is a market that is still quite uncharted.
Absolutely.
So, you know, so how, like, again, what are the skill sets they need? We've
Yeah.
talked about developers who's advanced, but then for a young and budding tech person who's
Yes.
thinking, oh, from what I'm hearing, this sounds
think
like a
I
great
can- yeah, I
idea.
can hop on this.
What are they looking to acquire in terms of skill set for the tech space?
Okay, it's
real
quite
estate
straightforward. It's quite straightforward. So if you're a young person out there trying to figure out how to get into this, first of all, think about the problem you're trying to solve. You
Okay.
know, and then acquire the skill that you need for the problem you're trying to solve. Because if you try to just learn a tech skill without addressing an actual problem, it's just going to be like one of those skills you learned and you just never put them to work. You know,
Right.
almost everybody has a friend who went to learn data analytics at some point when it was booming,
no.
and right now they're at home
no.
selling perfumes.
Travis is not the best.
I didn't share anybody.
Travis.
But the
is
point is, hold on,
Traffic-
let me land.
wait,
let me land.
And
The
data
point
analysis is still
it's
there's
still
some
breathing,
there's
selling
still
perfumes, right? Well, it is actually. But
The
here's the
point
thing.
is-
Here's the thing. The point is learn to build to solve a problem. So you're learning because you want to build to solve an actual problem. There's an application roadmap to this thing you're learning. So for developers who are there or young people who are trying to get into, that obviously understand the basics of, front-end development, understand, programming languages like React JS. For back-end developers, understand programming languages like Node.js, Tailwind, TypeScript, Flutter for mobile developers. These are just basic programming languages that people can basically just get on. And there's a whole lot of resources on the internet, to get you started on this without necessarily having to pay huge fees to some agency to teach you. But here's what I'm really looking forward to. So big that we could literally have solutions that are catered to individual communities. So if you live in a community like maybe outside Lagos, you might not have a tech company come from Lagos to go to that community to go solve problems with tech there. You literally can build something, take it back to your community and solve a problem there. So if there's a housing crisis in your community, maybe it's a population of 100,000 people or even 1 million people, there's a housing crisis there, build a solution, put it up, it's a real estate market, list all the properties within this place, it's maybe 20,000 properties, serving 1 million people, and then
that is
get
your
things
own
going.
drop in the ocean.
That's your own drop in the ocean. But the problem is you have people who have big dreams. Big dreams are good. You want to solve and fix a tech product for the whole of Nigeria. And now you don't have the money to serve the whole of Nigeria, and you sit down, you fold your hand and say, okay, I can't really do so much about this because I'm not a big tech
small.
firm.
I was
Start
going to
in your
say
community.
the
Absolutely.
message in this conversation today has been, even in tech, you can start small.
Absolutely.
So we've been talking about the evolution of technology in real estate, building participation, accountability, in real estate building rather, participation, accountability, transparency in the space.
And
we've
we've been speaking with David Travis Uche. Travis, is it your tech name or it's your actual?
It's my middle name.
It is?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
It is, actually.
By the way, you've got a very lovely voice.
Oh, thank you. It's a radio voice, right?
You have to collect our market, Abby. You have to collect our market.
Will you leave here? Well, he has almost a decade of experience in software product innovation and development. He leads multiple teams and is committed to building ideas and passion into efficient digital products that create value and improve lives, businesses, and processes. One last question, though. When you say you're a system thinker, what does that mean?
It means I think I multitask. Let's just cut it out. Summarize it.
Wow.
Yeah.
You should see
You should
his
look at
face
his
when he
That's
said
a
that.
layman term, right? Yeah. But in its complex form, it just basically means that I'm thinking about systems and processes and looking
Yeah.
at the beginning, the middle, and the
end.
end all
I
at
love
the same
it.
time.
From the start to
All
I
across
love it.
multiple
That's a
workflows.
beautiful
That's
way
amazing.
to introduce yourself, because you're not just thinking, you're somebody who's not just thinking about this one win.
Yes.
But you're thinking about a
The entire
wholesome win.
process.
I
Yeah.
love it, love it, love it.
Thank you very much.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
David Travis Uche, it's been a pleasure to have
been
you.
lovely being here.
Finally.
Thank you.
Hopefully we get to do this again, because I
Yeah.
think there's promise in the real estate space. There's always promise, because house will always need.
Exactly. And people
Yeah.
always need our
There's